how did Adolf Hitler lose the war? Is it because of his attack on the Soviet Union? Not spending on submarines, but big on warships. Uh, okay. The last part of the question made me raise my eyebrows. Not spending on submarines. The Germans invented the submarine. The Germans had truckloads of submarines. They were called undersea boats, U-boats. They had hundreds of U-boats, the Germans. So it's not like they did not spend on submarines. They had the best submarine fleet in the world. Um, they also had reasonably good big warships and all that. Why did Adolf Hitler lose the war? Uh, he did not lose the war because of his attack on the USSR. One of the reasons was that he did not go straight for Moscow. He went for the south, the southern part of Russia, the Ukraine, Crimea region, which is rich in oil and gas. And Hitler thought, if I secure this part of Russia, I'll have uh, I'll have no problem accessing oil and gas for the remainder of the war. So Operation Barbarossa started with the German army going for Moscow, and then they decided to go southwards instead of going for Moscow right away. That's one factor. And then, well, there's that strategic miscalculation, that strategic blunder was rewarded by all the miseries that the Russian winter brings upon you. So the Russian winter was not the reason for their loss in Russia; it was the punishment for a big mistake. Uh, then they did not go for. See, the Germans took all of Europe. They took France. They took everything else, but they waited too long to make a move on the UK. They should have done it, perhaps. That's another reason. So multiple reasons there, but the real reason is that the US came into the war. And the US had essentially inexhaustible resources because of they occupy an entire continent, essentially, North America. They also had access to the Canadian resources. Canada is a vassal state of the US. It's like a puppet of the US. So they have an entire continent's resources. And the war effort or kickstarts their economy again. They were, 1930s were the big recession of the US. The war actually kickstarts their economy, and the Americans very rapidly established power projection capabilities that were beginning to become global in nature. They started controlling all the supply chains and everything. That is, these logistical things are the critical aspects that change the outcomes of war. So I think Hitler lost the war because of a number of strategic mistakes, miscalculations. Also because a new power, the US, with inexhaustible resources, entered the war. The Germans could not damage the US homeland, could do a thing about it. But the Americans could damage Germany, and slowly, slowly they crept forward after the landings in Normandy. And also because Adolf Hitler made too many enemies, he kind of made the same mistake as Napoleon, trying to fight everybody at the same time. Once you establish control over certain territory, instead of holding it, you keep on expanding further and further and outwards and outwards. Eventually, you're going to run out of space to expand, especially when you are a nation with not that great amount of control and resources. So multiple mistakes. There's no one reason why Nazi Germany lost the war. It's a combination, it's a superposition of multiple mistakes all together that contributed to their defeat.